Welcome to CityWise. I'm your host, Tiana Stevens. CityWise is produced by the City of Rochester to shine a spotlight on city living at its best. Spring is here, and that means it's time for one of Rochester's favorite traditions, Clean Sweep. This year, the idea is the same. Thousands of volunteers will show pride in our city by working alongside city crews to beautify Rochester. But the format will be different, ending with a new, fun incentive. And joining us to talk about all things green and clean is Commissioner Norman Jones with the City Department of Environmental Services and Dan Mason, General Manager of the Rochester Red Wings. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
So Norman, we'll start with you. If some of us have been living under a rock this winter, maybe we haven't heard what's new with Clean Sweep this year. Let's start with just what is Clean Sweep exactly?
Clean Sweep is a community-based volunteer approach to helping the city clean the main arterials in different parts of the community after long, hard winters, such as we had this year, and help us beautify and enhance the city.
And Dan Mason is here because we've got a red-green partnership going on. How did this partnership come about?
Well, it really started about 2 years ago. Norm and I met for breakfast and started talking about it. At the time, he was looking for a way to kind of invigorate, a proven commodity of the clean sweep. And so we just started brainstorming, and I think this is something that's been done similarly in Chicago, where people of Chicago have met at Wrigley Field and then gone out and worked to clean up the city. But we all know that we're a lot better than Chicago here in Rochester, New York, so we're going to make it even bigger and better than what they've done in Chicago.
We sure are. And so what is the special new incentive this year for clean sweepers?
Well,
After people go out and clean up the city is inviting those volunteers to come back and get a free lunch at the ballpark, a free hot dog and soda, and then check out the Red Wings as we play at 1:05 against the Louisville Bats that day. And they'll also get a free T-shirt too. So you work hard and you get all kinds of great free stuff from the city of Rochester. So it's sure to be some hard work in the morning, but then people can come back and have a great time, and it should be really a fun day, a great team building opportunity for a lot of, whether you're a business or a high school team or a youth baseball team or any kind of team or a music group. I think this is a great opportunity to get together with a bunch of your friends and neighbors and do some great work.
Norm, can you walk us through the morning?
What's going to happen is that the gates will open up at 8 o'clock. We'll be right at Frontier Field on Maury Silver Way. You come in, either you're pre-registered or you can register on the spot. We will give you a T-shirt. We will sign you up to a project, and then we'll give you a cup of coffee and a Danish, and then we will give you your marching orders to go out there and help us spruce up the city.
And will there be transportation provided from the field to the job sites?
We will have a series of buses and vans that will take you to the job site. We will have equipment and free parking at the stadium, and all we want you to come to the stadium with is a willingness to work and a good attitude to help us clean up the city.
And Dan, what happens when the volunteers come back? Do they need to turn in a bag of trash to get their ticket, or how does that process work?
Well, after working in the morning at each site, there'll be a job leader, and those leaders will pass out to the volunteers their ticket to the ball game and a voucher for a free hot dog and soda when they get back to Frontier Field. And we'll be doing a little bit of an award ceremony once we get back at Frontier Field as well, and be able to show some photos of people participating in the clean sweep. So if you participate, you never know, you may see yourself up on the video board at the ballpark during the game at some point.
And some of our Rochester Red Wings have signed up to participate in the clean sweep, which we're very excited about. Why is that important for the Red Wings organization to also be out there in the community?
Well, I think for us in the front office and in our organization, we're known as Rochester Community Baseball. When community is your middle name, it's very important to give back to the city that has given so much to us. Those are our fans, and it's really the right thing to do, is to give back. For our players, I think it's great that they're getting involved. Aaron Thompson, one of our relief pitchers, and Eric Ferris, our center fielder, both raised their hands and said, hey, when they heard about this event, they said, we want to be a part of it. So they're going to be there at 7:30 in the morning, and they're trying to recruit some guys as we speak, some other players on the team to come out. So that's another thing. You may find yourself picking up some garbage right next to a Rochester Red Wing. And so one more incentive for people to come out and help beautify the city.
That's wonderful. Norman, let's just step back a little bit. What's the history of Clean Sweep? How has it changed over the years in Rochester?
Well, Clean Sweep started in 2006, and it was based on the 6 different net locations that we had throughout the city, and we had 6 separate Saturdays, and it started in April of 2006. And then when the net centers changed to the neighborhood service centers, we went to a 4-quadrant approach, so we tuned it down to 4. And then for the next 6 years, we had 4 clean sweeps each year. Some of the participation has waned down, although there are still good numbers. It did wane down, and we wanted to look at a different way to invigorate and to put some new life into it. To date, we've been able to solicit over 25,000 volunteers to participate in Clean Sweep, and we picked up over 1,200 tons of refuse from our city streets.
So this year we're going to the one-day format. All hands are on deck for this year's Clean Sweep. What sort of planning goes into something like that? How many departments are you working with to make this happen?
Well, we work with our DES, of course. We take the lead in it. Our communications department is responsible for making sure that we have good communications, good PR, good information being disseminated to our public, our police, fire, our neighborhood business and development through the neighborhood service centers are active. We solicit volunteers we have volunteers to solicit volunteers. We collaborate with the city school district. Monroe County has volunteered to allow us to use the parking lot. We have Rural Metro who's involved in it. The city school district. Who else?
RPD. Rochester Fire Department.
Rochester Fire Department. Also, we're having some actual infomercials or some donated time from actually Time Warner. So we have a community, a collaborative, and that's associated with this coordination. But you asked, when did we start? We started planning for this over a year ago. And we really hit the ground with the new administration in January, moving forward with this. The mayor is supportive of Clean Sweep. She's been supportive of Clean Sweep in the past. When she was the city council president, she was actually out there participating in Clean Sweep, and I know she'll be out there this year, and hopefully we can get her to throw out the first pitch.
Absolutely.
So we're all excited about it. Every member of the senior management team, all the department heads have committed to come out and be part of this effort. And the city's 100% behind it. And to date, we have over 1,200 folks who've pre-registered to be part of Clean Sweep.
That's wonderful. Why baseball and Clean Sweep?
Why not? Baseball and Clean Sweep. When I was in grammar school, and I grew up here locally, we had this spring tradition called the Knot-Hole Gang. They would give us reduced rates to go to the baseball games at the old Red Wing Stadium that turned into Silver Stadium that was on Norton near Hollenbeck Street. So every year they would let us out of school early and allow us to go to the baseball games, and it formed a tradition. And since then, this was some time ago, I'm not going to tell you when, I became a Rochester Red Wings fan. And when you look at spring in Rochester, you think about the leaves on the tree, the grass turning green, in community baseball. And I've been a baseball fan for a long time, and I start talking about names like Don Baylor and Bobby Gritch and Richie Coggins. So I'm kind of prejudiced when it talks about Rochester baseball because I really love it, and I think this is an opportunity where we can turn some other folks onto it. But it's synonymous, Rochester Spring Community Baseball.
I think it's a great opportunity also to get people, not only city residents, obviously this is a great opportunity for people who live in the city to help clean up their neighborhoods, but also people that work in the city or that live in the suburbs that enjoy coming to events in the city of Rochester and enjoy all the things that the parks and everything else that the city of Rochester has to offer, and Frontier Field and the War Memorial and all the other great things that the city of Rochester has to offer. So I think it's a great opportunity, whether you live in the suburbs or the city, to come on out and beautify our town and take pride in Rochester.
That's wonderful. Norm, can you tell us a little bit about some of the projects that are going to be happening?
Well, this year, because of the harshness of our winter, we're going to focus in on our major arterials, our main streets. We want to clean them up, get some of the grime off them, and there'll be some beautification projects, but our main push this year is to hit our main arterials, hit our streets, clean up some of the debris that's left over from this winter. Along with that, what we found out that has worked is that we've instituted a program called mini sweeps. These are actual efforts that are focused or brought to light by the actual neighborhood groups within certain city neighborhoods. So if you're in the 14621 neighborhood and you want to do a special cleanup on your block, you don't have to wait for a certain day out of the week. You can come and coordinate with our folks in DES, where we can come out there and assist you to clean up certain areas or plant a community garden. So instead of having a series of big clean sweeps throughout the spring, we're going to be doing mini sweeps throughout the spring, summer, and fall.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you both very much for joining us. Again, to learn more about Clean Sweep and to register as a volunteer, visit cityofrochester.gov/clean sweep. You can also call 311 to do that. Don't go away. CityWise will be right back. Welcome back to CityWise. I'm your host, Tiana Stevens. After the extended winter we've had in Rochester, we're all excited to see warmer temperatures, and with that, the many outdoor activities around the city, including our favorite events at the Rochester Public Market. Jim Farr, Assistant Director of the City Bureau of Recreation, is here to tell us all about the Summer of Fun at the Market. Thanks for joining us, Jim.
Thanks,
Tiana. The public market is always a lively place, but in the summer it really comes alive with all the energy. Let's just start with what's first on the docket for Summer of Fun.
Well, the first thing that starts us out in the spring every year is the garage sales, and we usually do a couple in April and then one in May before we start the flower days, and a lot of times those are some of the biggest ones of the year because there's a lot of pent-up junk, I guess, in people's houses.
Sure.
And people that come to garage sales are almost like addicted to them, so I think that, over the winter they don't have the opportunity to go there, so they're always great, the first few.
And anyone can sign up to rent space, right?
It's only $25 a spot, and the spots are about 10 by 30 feet. We just rent the space, so if you need tables, racks, anything like that, you have to bring all your own stuff like that. But it's pretty easy, and it's a great fundraiser for groups or church groups or scouts. And we have probably, I'd say we have half people that are really garage sale people, and the other half are more like flea market vendors and dealers. So it's a good mix of product down there.
Okay, and is there still space available for people that want to sell?
Yeah, there's still space available, and we'll be doing 19 throughout the course of the summer and the fall. So it's a busy season.
That's great. And what's next on the list?
Well, then we start with our longest running special event, and that's Flower City Sundays at the market. And although I probably went out of order because I forgot the food truck rodeo.
Oh, the food truck rodeo.
Yeah,
okay.
I was thinking about flowers after the winter, but actually April 30th, the last Wednesday of every month, we are this year going to do food truck rodeo. So we're doing 7 this year. Last year we did 5, and they were so popular, and we did 1 actually in February too, the Snowdeo, that went pretty well, even though it was a bitter cold day. But again, you know, that we have over 40 trucks signed up for the first one. We're again partnering with the Market District Business Association, Rohrbox Brewery. Rohrbox will be there selling all local beer, their beer, and Jenny Beer, another great local brewery, and we'll have local bands at every one. So you got local food, local bands, and local brew. So what could be better than to spend Wednesday night at the market? They're widely popular. You know, you should be there early. They start at 5 and go to 9, and people are coming at 4:15 and getting in line at some of the.
Is there seating
trucks
for that, or should people bring their own chairs?
You can bring
in?
your own tables and chairs. We do have some picnic tables too, but we encourage people to bring. There's plenty of space. We've spread out the site a little bit for the rodeos, so there's plenty of space if you bring your own tables or chairs.
Okay, great. And then now we can talk about Flower City
Now
Days
Flower
at the
City
market. Back to the
Days,
flowers.
which they were actually even predate a lot of the things that we're doing now. Back in 1989, we actually were looking for off-day uses for the market. And the first year in '89, we had 12 vendors, and we actually had to pay them $50 each to come to the market because they said no one will come to the market on a Sunday. Well, now it's grown to 5 Sundays plus the entire Memorial Day weekend, 8 to 2 each day, and we have around 300 vendors with everything you need for your garden: bedding plants, vegetable plants, horticultural needs, statuary, fencing, trellises, and we have the master gardeners from Cornell Cooperative Extension will be there every Sunday from 9 to 1, and they can help answer questions. We have the plant container recycling. If you have plant containers around that you don't know what to do with, bring them down to the market. There's a bin right by the market office where you can leave them, and you can take them too. So you can leave and take, and it works great. We never have any left. If nothing else, the vendors will take whatever's left because they love to have the seating trays and the planting trays. So it's a great way to help recycle and help our environment too.
That's
and
wonderful.
Clean out your garage again.
Sure, yeah. And Bands on the Bricks is another very popular event. What is Bands on the Bricks? What does that look like?
Well, this is going to be our 15th year. It doesn't seem possible for Bands on the Bricks. And we started it, and we continue to do it for a couple of reasons. One, to bring some really great free entertainment to the city and to the neighborhood, but also really to bring a different demographic down to the market that maybe doesn't traditionally come to the market. And we really want people to come down, have a great time, and hopefully they'll find it's a good place and a fun place to go, and they'll come back and be there for our normal Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday market. And the Bands on the Bricks, we're kicking it off this year with the Latin Night, and we do that in cooperation with the Puerto Rican Festival Committee, which is always a great night. We have a lot of diversity this year, and we have a reggae band, and we just booked for the last concert. We just booked Leon Russell, and so Leon's great. I'm a great Leon Russell fan, and he's played the market twice before, so it'll be a great finale. And of course we have Donna the Buffalo again, who are kind of a perennial favorite at the market. So, and again, we're working with the Business Association and several other sponsors that help us with that event. But this year we're also partnering with the Open Door Mission. The Open Door Mission is going to be the recipient of some of the profits from the events, as well as when people come, they can buy market tokens, which we're going to donate to the mission. And the mission's either going to give that to folks to come and get food themselves at the market, or use it to buy food for their pantry and their soup kitchen operation. So it's a great way you can come and also support a great Rochester charity.
That's a wonderful idea. And there's a little bit of something for everyone almost every week during the summer. What is the Gospel Jubilee?
The Gospel Jubilee, we started last year, and we actually partner with Elam Church, and it's about 12 different choirs, and 4 to 7 on a Sunday afternoon after the garage sale. It's this year it's going to be July 27th, I believe is the correct date for it, but if I'm wrong, you can check on the website and find out what the... And I just heard the Elam choir is actually going to Italy before that to be involved in a big music festival in Italy. So it's they're world-renowned gospel choir, and it's a great event. We had a great turnout last year, and we're looking forward to another great event.
That sounds fun, and there's no shortage of things to do. And the Brewers Fest is something new this year. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's the Brewers Fest for many years was held at Frontier Field. They took a year off last year and kind of reorganized how they operate the festival. And Rohrbox, of course, is our close neighbor right down the street. So John Erlob and I, the owner, were talking about venues for the event, and he'd always wanted to bring it back to the public market. And so it'll be the first year for the Brewers Fest at the market, and he expects breweries from all across New York State. So it should be a great evening at the market, and it's a great venue for it. You know, with the sheds, it's rain or shine, we have cover, and there's plenty of parking, so it just makes a good place for a festival.
How do you determine what sort of events to bring to the market?
Well, you know, we try to bring a lot of diversity. We're pretty open to most anything. As long as it's, you know, family friendly, and we're actually doing an event with the Center for Youth in a couple weeks here, where it's a preamble to their fashion week with a doggy fashion show at the market. And so, you know, it ranges. We're also working with another small processing food processors group that's going to bring, along with the garage sales on Sundays, they're going to take one of the sheds and actually have all the small food processors from the area come and sell and display their items. So, you know, we try to keep it themed around the market and food and fun, but it's you know, I wish, you know, because of the way the market schedule works, it's tough for us to do a Saturday, because by the time they get the market cleaned up and ready to go for a show, it's just too late. But if we had the Saturdays available too, I'm sure we could book even more stuff.
What can people expect just a regular day at the market in the summer?
Well, you know, we're just starting into the season when some of the homegrown stuff is just starting to come in. In the next week or so, spinach will be in. One of my favorites, homegrown asparagus, will be in very, very soon. Already you know, some of the pussy wills and some of the early annuals and pansies are at the market. But the market is, on a Saturday, it's just probably the most diverse and exciting place you can be in Western New York. You know, it's not unusual in season to have 45 or 50,000 people through the market on a Saturday, and they represent every socioeconomic group, every cultural group in the community. And it's the one place in the city where it seems as though everyone gets along. And you can shop, you know, next door and there's never any problems between customers. So we love it. I mean, it's a lot of fun. We have buskers there every week. We actually have a buskers program and a lot of very good musicians and jugglers and other things that come in and register. We have a Friends special guest program where 501c3 not-for-profit groups can come and get exposure at the market, and they can call the office to find out about that. But we usually have 3 or 4 different groups every Saturday. Saturdays we also have a partnership with the Democrat and Chronicle, where there's a different chef there every week doing tastings and cooking demonstrations. And we also work with FoodLink, and they have to just say yes to fruits and vegetables, so they're always doing healthy cooking at the same time too. So there's a lot of things to do. You know, one of the projects from Public Spaces in New York City always say a great public space has to have at least 10 things to do. Well, at the market there's 100 different things to do. So it certainly is a great public space. And you know, really the other thing about it is you really have to remember it's not just the market and the businesses in the market, but it's a whole district. It's really developing into a district. We have, as I said, Rohrbox Brewery down the street. Black Button Distillery just opened last fall, and they're doing great. You can go down there and have a distillery tour. A little shot of gin at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning always starts the day out right. So, you know, we also have wineries at the market, and it's just, you know, really just a great place to be.
Do you have a personal favorite for events or things to do at the market?
Well, one of my personal favorites is in the early spring like this. If you have a nice sunny day, the buildings on the Commission Row all face south, so you can sit over there and get a cup of coffee at one of the restaurants. And I just kind of like to look out and look at the activity and look at what's going on in the diversity. It's amazing. You know,
what are some of the restaurants that are available?
Well, there's Boulder Coffee is at the market. There's the Union Street Bakery, and they do great breakfast sandwiches and coffee. Vince Giordano's Cheese Shop, which is in olive oil straight from Italy, that his own family owns an olive grove and imports it. Cure, which is a restaurant in the evening, becomes a coffee shop during the day, and it's a great place for coffee. We have another Best Coffee at the Market, formerly Java Joe's, but Best Coffee at the Market, and Saturday Morning Bakery. It's just, and then the food kiosks, of course, the empanadas, which everyone goes for.
Right.
Scott's Restaurant. We have Cherries, which is great Ukrainian and Polish food, and then my mind is slipping here, and they'll kill me if I don't remember them. Well, we have one more restaurant.
Well, we'll look it up on the website.
Yeah,
We're out of time.
Up on the web.
Thank you, Jim. So that was a lot of information to take in, many dates that you don't want to forget. To check out the full Summer at the Market event schedule, you can visit cityofrochester.gov/market events. You can also call the Market office at 428-6907. Thanks for joining us on this edition of CityWise. I'm Tiana Stevens, and we'll see you next week.